1996 was a dismal year for the BC Lions. Things just weren't going the way Joe Pow had hoped. But the Lions have roared back in '97. New owner David Braley has brought stability off the field, while head coach Adam Rita has brought knowledge and experience, and most importantly, the Lions stars have come to play.
David Allen takes it straight ahead. Touchdown! Second down. 7 to go as Allen looks under the cover, has Shipman. Shipman escapes the first tackle, drives the corner, gets Allen has the play. Allen, pump fake, going deep, wide open. Alfred Jackson, touchdown. Millington breaks through. Sean Millington still going inside the 40. Down. 2nd and 10. Garcia from the shotgun under pressure drop. Calvillo won't get it away. In fact, he lost the ball. Loose ball. Touchdown, BC.
Stars make good plays, and good plays have put BC in a playoff run and perhaps a run for the Grey Cup.
We're gonna kick back, relax, watching football on a Friday night. It's Friday, and we're gonna be hard to take. It's Friday, coast to coast, the CFL is Canada's game. Well, we're all pumped up to party, and we're ready for a fight. Come on, relax, watching Friday night football. Boys are too bad. Playing CFL football game is up for grabs. It's Friday night football tonight.
Live from Winnipeg Stadium, it's the BC Lions, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Hey, it's Friday Night Football. You're watching TSN, live and interactive. Something smells good out in Winnipeg tonight. Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Friday Night Football. Rod Smith along with Les Brown, handing off to Marty York. Bob Bilovich here as well, coaching them through the rest of this telecast. We get set for the Lions and the Blue Bombers. BC at 7-5, Winnipeg at 2-10, and no win at home this year. Yes, in the span of a year, a lot has changed with these two teams. Here now, John Wells, Dave Archer, and Glenn Suter.
What a difference a year has made in the lives of the British Columbia Lions. 1 year ago, the Lions were about in the same shape as the Winnipeg Blue Bombers find themselves in right now. The Lions, after 12 games last year, had just 3 wins to go along with 9 losses. But they've made changes at the top, and they hired Adam Rita as a head coach, and things have turned around rather suddenly.
They certainly have. David Braley brought the financial stability back to the franchise. He hired Glenn Ringdale. Glenn Ringdale went out and immediately got Adam Rita, who is a proven coach in the CFL, obviously. Now, Adam Rita builds his offense around Damon Allen and his abilities, and it has paid off in a big way for the BC Lions. And I think what's most impressive about Damon Allen's numbers is completion percentage at 68%, and the fact that he's only thrown 4 interceptions.
David Archer, the Blue Bombers lost again in Montreal, but they lost by a very narrow margin. Do they take a moral victory out of this game against Montreal last week for Chris Vargas's confidence?
Well, I think you have to, and I think this team is starved for a guy to step up and be their leader. This is a team that had Chris Vargas win the job coming out of training camp. He lost it in about week 3 or 4 because of poor play. Kevin McDougall rises up. He's the starter. He is injured a couple weeks ago, and now Chris Vargas's opportunity comes around again. It doesn't come around very often, so when you get it, you need to seize it. This is Chris Vargas, maybe his final opportunity to be the guy here in Winnipeg.
Vargas will try and take advantage of that tonight, and the Bombers are definitely due for a win on home turf. They haven't won here at Winnipeg Stadium since October 13th, 1996.
Thank you, John. And yeah, some key stars out that we mentioned at the top of the show, Al Shipman and Dave Chaters and Alfred Jackson out of that BC lineup. That'll make a difference, but it'll be BC still favored in this game. What does Winnipeg have to do to win it?
I think Winnipeg tonight, their defense has to eliminate the big plays against, because they've done that a lot all year, both against the rush and the pass. And then Vargas, as Dave Archer mentioned, has to come up with a big game. If they can do those two things well with a good kicking game, they got a chance.
And yet, Les, I sense you think Winnipeg doesn't have much of a chance tonight.
I really don't think Winnipeg has much of a chance tonight. BC is playing with a much stronger purpose than what Winnipeg is playing for. BC is chasing Edmonton for that first spot, where Winnipeg is just chasing a ghost right now.
Well, Marty's along with his picks again. Marty, can I ask you your record again, or I shouldn't?
You know,
get into that?
I don't know.
Okay, that means whenever he says I don't know, it means it's under 500. Go ahead. Who do you like?
I'll tell you what really scares me is that I agree with Les tonight. I really do. I think Las Vegas is favoring the Lions by 6.5 points, and I like the Lions. Let's face it, the Bombers are history. Last week they had a chance to beat Montreal, and they lost that heartbreaker in that game, and now I think they're demoralized. The Bombers are last in 15 of 20 defensive categories, and they can't consider Winnipeg Stadium a home field advantage because they don't win there. So the Lions would be tied for first in the West if they win tonight. You know they're psyched to win this. Damon Allen, who's more efficient this season than he has been in his 13 years in the league, should have a party tonight. So if you want to celebrate with the Lions, take the Lions, lay the points. I think it should be a rather one-sided affair.
And if it is a one-sided affair, you can imagine Jeff Reinbold won't be too happy. Well, we've got him mic'd tonight. Adam Rita has a mic as well. Be interesting to hear what goes on tonight. An added feature for you on Friday Night Football. We'll have the opening kickoff when we come back right here on TSN. Don't go away.
The Bombers are hoping for better times on home turf at Winnipeg Stadium in their first victory of 1997 in a place where they used to be tough to beat. A little bit of a breeze, but there's a chill in the air. It's mid-September and 6 degrees Celsius. The field is slightly damp. Lions coach Adam Rita has done a masterful job in turning the BC fortunes around.
He really has, coming off a huge win against the first-place Edmonton Eskimos, 27-1 last week. If he wins tonight, he takes first place, his team, in the West Division.
Despite the record, Jeff Reinbold thinks he's on the right track.
And I think a lot of people in his locker room feel the same way. There's a lot of good feelings, even though it's a 2-10 team. They don't feel that way.
We're ready for the kickoff on Friday Night Football. Donaldson is deep for the BC Lions as Westwood gets this underway. At the 22. A good move by Donaldson to try and find a little room outside, but the Bombers string him out. Finally drag him down on the far side. Dwayne Knight leading the tacklers. BC's Damon Allen is in the midst of his best season as a CFL quarterback. He is a gifted athlete, playing with great poise and putting up some terrific numbers so far in 1997. So the Lions will begin outside their 35-yard line at the 37. With Damon Allen at the controls, the #1 passer in the Canadian Football League on the efficiency chart. Sean Millington gets the first carry of the game.
Well, Sean Millington's going to have to be a major factor tonight with Alfred Jackson out of the lineup. Shalon Baker will take his spot. But Mike Trevathan will have to step up and make a lot of the big plays from the backs and receivers. That offensive line has played well. Furtick is now in the lineup. Taurus Withycombe. Ellen Oweeby slides to the guard from left tackle. And Chuck Bradley anchors the right side.
Millington picked up 9. This will be 2nd and 1 for the Lions. Out across the 45 at the 47 now. Lions have the best record against teams in the Western Division, and currently stand in 2nd spot as Allen keeps himself, and that'll be a BC first down.
Well, defensively for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers up front, they go with Colin Scribner. Rob Robinson will get his first start, acquired from the Calgary Stampeders, and Madeline Knight and middle from the linebacker position. In the secondary, Brandon Hamilton, the former BC Lion, having a solid year on the corner, and Robert Davis gets his 2nd start at safety in 2nd week.
Damon Allen and the Lions with a first down, approaching the 50-yard line. First sequence of the night just nicely underway at Winnipeg Stadium. Millington slipped, the ball came loose, and it looks like the Bombers have the first turnover of the night. Dean Osborne came up with the football. We mentioned the field being a little bit damp. Millington slipped,
on his way to meet the quarterback, and the Bombers have the turnover.
Well, it looked like he saw D. Osborne come clean right off the start, Glenn, and tries to plant and cut before he actually gets the football in his hands.
Yeah, when you get penetration from that defensive line, you can see how he tried to cut away just before he had the football, and it comes loose. D. Osborne on the spot, picks it up and wrestles it away from Sean Millington. Get the fans behind the home team Winnipeg Blue Bombers earlier in this game.
On the turnover, the Bombers begin at the BC 45, first down. Vargas handing off to Montgomery. Good move as Montgomery found a little room to the outside.
Well, D. Osborne's a linebacker this team picked up after he was released by the NFL Colts. He has 4.6 speed, and they're trying to find a guy to fill the spot that Shante Peoples has played on this defense. He and Doug Hawking have shared those duties.
D. Osborne can get it done. At Miami of Ohio, we went to school. He had 372 tackles in 3 years. Yikes.
Montgomery picked up 6. This is 2nd and 4, and he gets it again. This will be close to a first down, but I think the Bombers will come up about a yard shy. Tyrone Montgomery averaged 3.8 yards a carry last week and picked up 91 yards in total on 21 carries.
When you run the ball and in 2nd and 4, it tells you 2 things. One, you have a lot of confidence in your back that he'll pick it and run it, and you have a lot of confidence in your offensive line, but they've come up short here, John.
By a yard, so Vargas heads to the sidelines, and Westwood trots out for Winnipeg.
A couple of quiet boos from the fans here in Winnipeg. They thought they maybe Jeff Reinbold should have gambled in this situation, but I like the decision.
That's a long yard down there. It's about a yard and a half.
So a yard and a half, and try and get 3 points here. Get some points in your opening drive when you get the turnover.
Westwood hitting on 70% of his field goal tries. He has the longest field goal in the CFL this year at 56. And he's wide on his first crack at it here tonight. It'll sail for a single as Philpott drops back and gives up 1. So the turnover only cost the BC Lions a point. It could have been a lot worse as Westwood puts one just wide. Jeff Reinbold just over talking to Troy Westwood and saying, don't worry about that. You're going to get 5 of them tonight.
Well, you'd like to think you're going to punch it in more than you're going to have to kick field goals, but that's one they certainly should have cashed in. They didn't pick up the first down on 2 running plays.
7 don't matter, but we need points in every situation.
And there you say, you heard Reinbold say it right there. We need points in every situation, and he's not talking about a single. He's talking about at least 3. He wanted 7 on the turnover.
So the Lions will begin after giving up just 1 point at the 36-yard line. Adam Rita, the 91 CFL Coach of the Year for a Grey Cup winning season as head coach of the Argonauts. Baker flanks to the near side. There's 3 receivers this side of the field. Allen goes the other way and has a completion to Larry Thompson. First catch of the night. A 4-point game at BC Place Stadium. We talked about this a little earlier. Ronald Williams, 190 yards, but Alfred Jackson upstaged them that night for BC with 266.
Both not playing tonight.
And you saw the completion from Damon Allen, the quick hitch route. Those are the kind of things that Jackson and Larry Thompson have given him. Because they're so fast, they play off, and these guys are catching balls underneath.
And up for a first down out at the 50. Allen fakes once and goes deep down the sideline. Tight coverage over there on Thompson. No flags, and it wasn't close.
Well, this team throws a lot of hitch routes. Their first throw out was a hitch route to Larry Thompson, so they come right back and try to get Nick Ferguson early in the game with the hitch and go.
But he was having nothing, no part of it. Nick Ferguson did not bite on the hitch. He played off by about 3 or 4 yards and was right in the hip pocket of Larry Thompson as he went down that sideline.
Philpott flanked out to the near side on 2nd and 10 Lions from the 50. Allen with time looks over the middle, right on target. Ferguson wrapped him up, and Baker made the catch, his 2nd of the game. He draws in for Alfred Jackson out with a knee injury, and he was expected to start until late yesterday.
Yeah, Alfred Jackson decided yesterday that he couldn't go with the knee problem, and Shalon Baker is excited to be playing. He wants a coaching staff to believe in him again. He thinks that they've stopped believing in him in the CFL, and of course he worked with Jim Sandusky, the receiver coach here in BC, and with Adam Rita. And those guys know what kind of player Shalon Baker is. They know his work ethic. They know what he can do on the field, so they'd have no problem putting him in the lineup.
I'll say he's ready to play. I got a chance to talk with him also just before the game. He's pumped up. He said he's more pumped up to play this game than any game he's played in his career.
You have to take advantage of those opportunities, and Baker gets one tonight. This is third down, less than a yard to go. BC trying to get across the 50. And Damon Allen does with no penalty markers. So this drive will continue for the BC Lions. This is a good combination. Adam Rita and Damon Allen, they seem to be on the same page.
Well, you win a Grey Cup together. You tend to do things the same way. I think that Damon Allen is actually an extension of the way Adam Rita would play if he had an opportunity to play.
Yeah, and the other thing is that Damon Allen is happy. He's got an agreement for a 3-year deal in BC. Adam Rita knows that. When you're comfortable, makes a big difference of the play on the field.
Another BC first down, and Allen gets it out to the far side to Baker again. Wrapped up by Ferguson. A little help from Robert Davis.
Well, the one thing that stuck in my mind talking to Shalon Baker is he shook his head and he says, they said I just wasn't good enough to play on Jeff Reinbold's team. And boy, that really stuck in the old throat for him.
Which is why he is so pumped to play against that same Jeff Reinbold here tonight.
2nd and 5. Allen got a little heat, but he got it away. And he'll be close to another first down. Connecting with Thompson.
Well, it was blitz coverage downfield, Glenn, and they leave the middle wide open, and Damon finds a target underneath. He finds Larry Thompson.
Yeah, Nick Ferguson let Larry Thompson get to the inside position and see with the pressure coming. Damon Allen has to get rid of it immediately. Dwayne Knight's right in his face, but he does a nice job of finding Thompson coming across.
But if you blitz a quarterback, you know that, hey, we're vulnerable to secondary. We need to get to the quarterback.
Absolutely. That's a double-edged sword. When you're playing man defense, you got to get home or you're dead.
3rd and 1, and the Lions go gambling at the Winnipeg 40. Not much problem for Sean Millington bulling his way through. Millington averages 5.6 yards a carry and has had a couple of memorable days in 1997, including a 212-yard game against Saskatchewan August 15th.
Well, you know, running backs need to have the football a lot to really establish something. And over Sean Millington's career, he's averaged about 50 rushes per year. This year, he's more than doubled that, having an all-star season at the fullback position. And like you mentioned, John, big reason for the Lions' success so far this season.
Closer than I thought. They measured that, but was no problem for Millington. Pretty impressive drive for Damon Allen here.
This is something Damon's done all year long. Take the throws they give him, make the completions when they blitz him, and then get Millington involved in the run game.
Allen good on 4 of 5 for 31 yards. BC with another first down at the Bomber 38 this time. Flag is down, and Larry Thompson is wrapped up by 3 Blue Bombers, including Brandon Hamilton. What did you spot down there? Did the Lions get a quick start?
It looked like Todd Furtick got an early start.
Procedure, BC number 6.
They're going to get Corey Philpott because he gets downfield, but Todd Furtick moves also.
Well, Corey Philpott is right down here at the bottom of your screen. Take a look and see if he gets the jump, and Furtick is at the top. He kind of moves that hand up as well, so basically could have got either one of them on the procedure there. There's been some movement on that offensive line. Mo Elwanivi's had to go to the guard position, and Furtick back out at tackle. Hasn't played for a couple of games, so he might be a little rusty.
1st and 15 for the Lions. And Furtick again.
Time count violation, BC number 9.
Well, they get Damon Allen for using too much time on the clock, but I guarantee you Todd Furtick is ready to jump out of there again. He probably saw the clock and Damon didn't.
Yeah, Furtick moved in time.
Yeah.
Damon Allen didn't get the ball in time.
First and 20 all of a sudden after back-to-back penalties against the Lions. Allen all kinds of time. Throwing on the run, he has Thompson. Took a big hit, lost the ball. Bombers say they have it, and that's the indication. Brandon Hamilton with a big hit on Larry Thompson. Bombers have their second turnover on Friday Night Football. Couple of turnovers by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Brandon Hamilton caused it, and Tyrone Rogers came up with the football as Winnipeg takes over just across the Bomber 40-yard line. Vargas with time, and a flag down as he looked for Turhan O'Bannon. And there was little doubt about the interference or the holding upfield on O'Bannon that time.
Illegal contact on an eligible receiver, BC number 4.
A little bootleg play from Winnipeg, and they come out, and Vargas is looking for Turhan O'Bannon, and Damien Lyons has got a little bit of the jersey.
But let's go back one more time to this Brandon Hamilton hit. I can't believe we were almost going to let this one slide. This is a big hit by a DB. Bang! Ball comes out, down goes Larry Thompson, and Winnipeg comes up with the turnover.
And that'll tell you what stats mean, because coming into this game, Winnipeg's defense was last in taking the football away from people. They have 2 tonight, and BC was number 2 in the league in giving it up. So something's got to give there. That tells you how important stats are, Glenn, when you come into a game.
Lions with 5 first downs, the Bombers with 1. The Bombers have 1 point on the board. And a couple of turnovers with a chance to add to that total here. Winnipeg set up at the BC 50-yard line, first down. Vargas has a target. Bruce Boyko made the catch. He's short of the first down, but good production on first down. Vargas hitting on 49% of his passes on the season, but he had a pretty good week last week, 17 of 31 for 293 yards. He had the 2 touchdowns, Dave, but he also had 2 interceptions, and 1 cost him the game.
Well, the 1 interception couldn't be credited to him. Bounced off a player's chest.
Stick up for those quarterbacks, I understand. Vargas himself on second and a long yard, and that'll be a Winnipeg first down.
Well, this Winnipeg offense is built around Chris Vargas tonight, but Milt Stegall is the featured guy. He's the go-to deep guy. Dexter Dawson trying to fit in a wide receiver spot, and this offensive line is considered their strength. Perez, McNeil, Van Conant, Mihalik, and Hendrickson. Van Conant will make a lot of calls for Vargas if there's some bad plays at the line of scrimmage.
Stegall has not touched the football thus far. On first down, Vargas fires out to the far side, has Dawson, and Dawson makes a pretty good play of it after going down to make the catch.
Well, what these wide receiver screens are, or all they are, is setting up a punt return, and who better to set up a punt return than to Dexter Dawson. Dexter Dawson's number 5. They kick it out to him, and then he's supposed to get the blocks. He has to make an athletic play, and I don't know if he caught that one or not.
Well, I think it was a fumble. It looked to me a little bit like Vargas may have thrown that behind the line of scrimmage, so when it bounced, Dexter Dawson was heads up to pick it up and get what he could.
He grabbed 6. This is second down and 4 from the 31 of BC. Vargas stands in. And he got it away. Boyko made the catch. A little bit of a miracle there as Alan Boyko comes up. Vargas was going down a little little bit of a dangerous throw, but sometimes you get lucky.
Well, this is a heck of a play by Chris Vargas. First of all, he misses Tyrone Montgomery coming out of the backfield wide open because he's looking the other way. And it looked like to me he's just trying to throw it away here.
Well, Joe Fleming had the best chance at him as he's going down. Somehow gets it to Alan Boyko.
Inside the 20 at the BC 18. First down, Winnipeg. From the shotgun. Montgomery got the call.
Chris Vargas, John, not known as a running quarterback. The BC Lions know that. In his career, he's really only rushed the ball about 18 times, 3 years, but he does a pretty nice job of buying a little time, ducking the tackle from Joe Fleming, and then this is just heads up.
You don't call it a little bit of
Now,
luck?
How do you see a receiver going down in your back and throw like that? I mean,
Bombers are at the BC 13. 2nd and 5. Vargas stands in, the touchdown toss, no one home.
Well, that's one
Bannon
where
might
you
have been
light.
the closest receiver.
Well, that's one where you light up as a quarterback because it's blitz coverage. What a quarterback will call zero. Nobody in center field. They're coming after you, trying to pressure you. And when they pressure the quarterback, they need to try to get to him. They just didn't get there, and he had a lot of time to deliver this football.
yeah, and I think with Turon O'Bannon in there was a little bit of miscommunication in the depths of the routes. It didn't look to me like there was a good distribution between the two receivers, Milt Stiegel and Turon O'Bannon, and they couldn't break open in their route running. You know, Turon O'Bannon has missed 6 weeks with a hamstring pull. This is his first game back.
Westwood missed his first field goal. This from a little closer in. It'll be spotted by Cameron on the 20-yard line, and Westwood nails it. So on 2 turnovers, the Blue Bombers come away with 4 points, and that's the lead they have in the BC Lions on Friday Night Football. Back at Winnipeg Stadium, it's Friday Night Football as the Bombers look for their 3rd win of the season. They have the lead on the BC Lions at 4-0. And Westwood prepares to kick it off again for Winnipeg. 3 deep for the Lions. It comes up short. David Benefield on that return. We're listening into the BC bench and Adam Rita tonight.
They said they're not going to do anything except just play. Treat them like anybody else.
Hey, Dave, they were in quads one time. They had a guy go free right down the, I don't know if it's the outside or he came right free down to the post.
Tyrone Montgomery.
We were in quads and we only had 2 guys or 3 guys over there.
It's a gentle reminder to the D coordinator. Hey, if they got 4, we need 4, not 3.
Sean Millington on first down. He's almost got another one. Close to 9 yards, wrapped up by Rob Robinson. Four touchdowns in the season for Millington, 618 yards rushing coming into this one tonight. Closer to 8 where they spot the ball, so this will be 2nd and 2. The Lions closing in on midfield, and Millington stopped in his tracks. Robinson is there celebrating, but Carter was underneath.
I think you can credit the entire defensive front this time from Winnipeg as they clog it up. Tyrone Montgomery's right in the middle of it. And they got a great push the first play, Glenn, and this time the defensive front steps up.
Yeah, and Colin Scribner was the key up front because he kept it contained. When Sean Millington went to break to his right, Colin Scribner made him go back inside, and that's right where Grant Carter was waiting for him.
A welcome addition in Winnipeg, Grant Carter. 15 sacks in Montreal last season as Bisaglia steps in to punt for the first time, and Dexter Dawson waits at the Winnipeg 10. Nice kick with a bit of a breeze, and it sails right over Dawson's head and right through the end zone, or at least almost through. Dawson gives up the point. 1:46 to go in the opening quarter. First game of week 13 in the CFL. BC at Winnipeg tomorrow. Another biggie. Argonauts and the Eskimos.
Now, the word I hear is Danny McManus is ready to go and will start in that game.
And Don Matthews is firing up the Eskimos, is he? A little bit, with comments about the team being a little long in the tooth.
That's what I hear. He said that Edmonton Eskimos struggle as the season goes on because of their age, and you guys in Edmonton are taking exception to that.
That should add to the flavor of that for Gordon Leaf tomorrow night. Winnipeg first down at the 35. Vargas, a pretty good drive last time he got his hands on the ball. Missed his target this time. Stiegel was the target. A flag comes down. Leading receiver in the CFL has yet to catch one here tonight.
Forward pass interference. BC 14. First down.
Well, this is a matchup we wanted to watch throughout this game. This is Rashid Gale. He is the rookie in the Lions lineup on Milt Stiegel, the #1 receiver in the Canadian Football League. Little pushing and shoving.
Bombers have been able to take advantage of a couple of breaks in this one tonight, including 2 turnovers. Another Winnipeg first down. Flags go down a little bit late. Appeared to be early movement from the BC side of the ball. 40 yards and penalties for the Lions so far.
Now, the guy who goes outside is a guy who's having a pretty good season with the BC Lions. It's Virgil Robertson right from the top of your screen. He's the one who's going to jump. You see right there. But what a season that Virgil Robertson is having. He's got 7 sacks on the year, and he's got 7 in the last 8 games. But he jumped the gun on that one.
And that makes it 1st and 5 for the Bombers. Ball spotted right on the 55 with 54 seconds to go in the opening quarter at Winnipeg Stadium. Vargas with 3 receivers to the near side, and he hands out Tyrone Montgomery. Ronald Williams may be sorry he missed that meeting, guys.
I don't think there's any question about it. Tyrone Montgomery has come in. And
Rondell, we on TV, baby. What's going on?
yeah, you're on TV, but you're sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah,
what's happening
in the
next.
doghouse.
Tyrone Montgomery out running the football, and this is a guy that has really been taken under the wing of these teammates. They say he's a class act, great guy, brother of 3 guys that played in the NFL, and I think you can see the burst when he hits the hole.
Another Winnipeg first down. The result, Vargas throwing confidently for Stiegel. Great coverage on Milt Stiegel, supplied by Rashid Gale. So it's 1-1 in the battle between those 2 right now.
1-1, and it's going to be a long night for Rashid Gale in the battle all night because Milt Stiegel's the deep threat. He's going to run the corner here, but pretty good coverage by the rookie.
It's good coverage by the rookie, and Milt really didn't give him anything at the top of his route. As Milt's coming to the top of his route, he doesn't really stick him and get him to turn to the inside, which allows the rookie to roll right out with him on the play and knock the ball away. But as you said, that's going to be a tough matchup all night long right there.
2nd and 10, Blue Bombers. Stiegel to the near side with 2 other receivers. Vargas looking in this direction, and he finds Dex Dawson. Rashid Gale was on the coverage there too, or at least in on the tackle at the end of quarter 1. We'll send you back to Friday Night Football Control.
Friday Night Football tonight.
Friday Night Football, live at the quarter, is brought to you by Midas for new, longer-lasting carbon metallic brake pads.
Welcome back. Rod Smith along with Obie, Les, and Marty. And before this game, we talked a lot about the turnover ratio for the BC Lions in this one and how impressive it had been. Turnovers a factor so far, Les, but going the other way.
Yeah, no, BC's trying to make a liar out of me right here. They're coming out and they're giving up the ball on fumbles. But their defense has held these guys to 4 points off of those turnovers. So BC's defense still sticking up there strong.
And speaking of defense, Obi, you said one of the keys, Winnipeg's defense has to perform, and so far it has been.
Well, I think both defenses have played well at this point in the game. Just as Les mentioned, give BC credit for not giving up more than the number of points they have on the 2 turnovers. But what impressed me in that quarter is that Winnipeg was against the wind the whole quarter, and they had the best part of the play. So now they're going to get the wind in the second quarter, and we'll see how BC plays against the wind, because I think against the wind it's to Winnipeg's favor as far as the kicking game.
Maybe one of the guys in the Winnipeg team with a little more to play for tonight, Chris Vargas. Marty, what do you think of him so far?
Well, you know, Rod, every game in the CFL has situations where players want to beat their old teams, because that's just the nature of the league. But I think tonight with Chris Vargas, he especially wants to prove to the Lions that he is good enough to play in the CFL. When they traded him to Winnipeg earlier this season, they didn't think he had what it takes, and he's not really having a very good season. He really wants to prove that he can be the guy. And really, Vargas and the Bombers could have won earlier this season when they were in BC.
You know, Marty, I think that BC wanted to keep Chris Vargas. He wanted out of BC because he thought he could go somewhere where he could start, and he wasn't going to get a chance in BC, but they didn't want to lose him.
Right.
Chris Vargas, yeah, couldn't start ahead of Damon Allen in BC, but is starting in that game tonight. And Winnipeg with that lead, although just a couple of singles and a field goal scored so far. Let's head to the second quarter now, Winnipeg Stadium, and John Wells.
Wind is at the backs of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers now in the opening play of the second quarter, so that'll allow Winnipeg a field goal attempt from Westwood here. So they played that clock perfectly to get this opportunity. With the wind, Westwood for the first time. Ball spotted at the 46 by Cameron. He's got enough, and it's good. Until then, all the points had come from turnovers. So Winnipeg on top of the BC Lions. 7-1 at Winnipeg Stadium.
Well, the stats, really the only glaring thing are the 2 turnovers. Other than that, both quarterbacks have played extremely well, distributing the ball underneath, taking what they've been given. That's why it's a close ball game right now.
Yeah, time of possession you see in favor of Winnipeg, and that's just a tribute to Chris Vargas. Again, for the second game in a row, he looks confident, throwing from the pocket, throwing strikes, and his receivers have come up with some big catches for him.
Damon Allen good on 5 of 6 for 37 yards. He moved the Lions effectively for a bit, but then there were turnovers. Now here's Millington taking off again. Sean Millington, a power out of the BC backfield. 109 yards on 16 carries for Millington a week ago in the win over the Eskimos.
And that's saying something. When you run for 109 yards against that defense in Edmonton, that's saying something. You saw how strong he is. He got hit by Dwayne Knight there, who's about the same size, and he's carried him about 6 yards down the field.
Having a great year. I mean, this time last year, Sean Millington had just under 300 yards rushing the football, and now he's well over 600, just having a tremendous season.
The gain is 7. So the Lions are looking at 2nd and 3. Trying to get across their 45 for a first down. Allen to the far side. He has Thompson. Thompson closing in on 600 yards receiving.
You know, some players always have good games in certain parks or against certain teams. Larry Thompson plays well here in Winnipeg. He had his best season in Winnipeg back in 1992 when he had over 1,000 yards. And in 95, as a member of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Larry Thompson put up a 275-yard game and 3 touchdowns here in Winnipeg. He likes playing here.
Nice start for him tonight. 4 receptions, 28 yards. Allen looked in that direction again, but he fired high.
Well, what they're doing offensively right now, throwing the footballs, Damon's just taking a 3-step drop, setting quick and getting the ball out. He's throwing the hitch routes. He's throwing the slant routes. You see Damon's going to take the 3-step, set up. Good hard protection up front. Colin Scribner got a little push, but Damon stepped in the hole and threw the ball high over Thompson's head. But they're getting the ball out quick, running the football and getting out quick.
Allen looks at 2nd and 10. From the 49. little heat, and that one was knocked down.
Well, Damon wanted to throw the ball to the corner route. He got good pressure through the middle as Glenn Scrivener and the crew came straight up the gut. See, Damon takes a 5 steps drop out of the gun. Good pressure in the middle. But what created the play was Brandon Hamilton acted like he was going to play up on Larry Thompson, then drop back on the slot receiver, and Damon saw it and had to try to regroup, but it came out of his hand.
3rd down, and Pasaglia punts into the breeze. Dexter Dawson takes it on the 2nd bounce, and he's slowed down on about his 3rd step of the return. Bombers hang on to the lead. Good night for the Scrivener boys from Winnipeg, Manitoba.
But he's got to go like he knows he can get home. Yeah. Hey, Dwayne, and against the slide protection that we're going to see, Hoffman's the blitz of choice, right? So, but you got to go like you're going to get home because they'll turn loose the widest guy, and that's going to be you.
First down. Out across the 30. At the 31, Vargas on target again. Has Stiegel for the first reception for Milt Stiegel. Vargas now got on 5 of 7.
Now, wait a minute. That was what, a 6-yard pass to Milt Stiegel? Now, I got his average at 27.3. He's not going to like catching too many of those.
I was just getting ready to say that's really going to screw up the average.
Montgomery trapped in the backfield. Nowhere to run that time as the Lions read it well. Benefield in the middle of things.
Well, I know what Joe Paupau's trying to do, the offensive coordinator of Winnipeg. He's trying to take care of the ball in his own end. But this is a little too conservative here. Tries to run the draw play to Tyrone Montgomery in a 2nd and 4 situation. I think you need to trust Chris Vargas a little more. Let him throw the football in those situations.
David Benefield, nice job of closing that down. Had his first sack last week versus Edmonton in his 3rd start with the Lions.
Cameron at his 20-yard line with a bit of a breeze, high and deep. He got all of this one. Back to the 25. Larry Thompson had nowhere to go after that. Brad Elberg leading the Blue Bomber tacklers. And there's a fight broken out behind the play here. Back at the 15.
Looks like Nick Ferguson is one of the guys. He's the guy with his helmet off.
I think Robert Holland is the other player for BC.
Special teams are an all-out war. When you're covering a kick or protecting your returner, it's a fist fight all the way down the field, and this one went a little bit after the whistle.
Well, this is the 2nd time Robert Holland has been in a scrape this early in the game. Got in one on the punt that went through the end zone, and this time he gets in another one. He's a talker. He's a guy that stays in your ear and takes a little extra shot at you. Tries to work you out of your game.
Marker down at the 50.
You're watching the CFL on TSN.
Welcome back to Friday Night Football Control. We apologize. Our signal's gone down in Winnipeg, the Blue Bombers and the BC Lions, and we'll get back there as soon as it is restored with Winnipeg leading BC in the 2nd quarter. Once again, the satellite feed has gone down, and we're back in studio now with Marty York, Les Brown, and Bob Obilovich, anxiously awaiting to see the rest of this football game. We have the time now to talk a little bit about it. A little surprises so far.
We've had stuff like this happen once before, all the time in Winnipeg, but usually it's raining and the lightning is coming down and it hits part of the stadium, and they tell everybody to go in the locker room.
That's what I was just going to say. You don't think the weather's not a factor?
Weather could be a factor so far. You saw that in the kicking game so far. I mean, Louis Pasaglia,
Yeah, Louis had his first punt against the Win, and it went about 30 yards. You got a good bounce on it, and then you just saw Cameron kick one about 55 yards. So there is a difference there.
And the age is the same on both of those legs.
And gentlemen, I know it's still pretty early in the game, but aren't you surprised that the Lions, with so much at stake, they have a chance to move into a tie for first place? Aren't you surprised that they came out so lackadaisical so far?
Yeah, I'm really surprised that they came out lackadaisical. But that's what a team that's 2-10 can be to you. You know, you have to really pump yourself up to play against teams like this. And Montreal, which I have to give a hat off to them, because they had to play teams like that 2 weeks in a row, and they came out with wins. So now it's up to BC to try to do the same thing.
Maybe the Lions are a little overconfident.
Well, I'll tell you what, they shouldn't be overconfident, because Winnipeg gave them all they wanted in BC. In fact, Winnipeg was the better part of the two teams. Alfred Jackson had a career night that night. Otherwise, Winnipeg might have beat him that night. So they should respect the way that they played him.
So what do you think about this low-scoring game? I mean, it's what, one touchdown and somebody else has got the lead.
I thought it was going to be high-scoring, but I keep getting everything wrong. So.
You know, in the Canadian Football League, though, you can have. We had one just a few weeks ago where I think they were under 20 points at the half, and then things explode in the second half.
Right.
And that kind of thing happens all the time. But I agree. The Lions sometimes, I mean, last week against Edmonton, they look like world beaters. And then you get games where it just does not look like they have it. And so far, it doesn't look like they have a lot offensively against Winnipeg.
Well, I really think they reflect their quarterback. Damon Allen, as I've been saying for a couple of years now on this panel, is very hot and cold type of quarterback. He's very inconsistent. When he's good, he's extremely good. And when he's not, he's like he is right now.
We're talking during the second quarter because we've had a technical problem out with our telecast, our hookup with Winnipeg, and when we get that all ironed out, we will head back there now. You're watching Friday Night Football on TSN. Please don't go away.
Friday Night Football tonight.
Welcome back to Friday Night Football. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers leading the BC Lions 7-1 in the second quarter at Winnipeg Stadium. The problem is we have lost our hookup from Winnipeg, and we are trying to restore it. So in the meantime, we get to talk a little bit of football, not only about today's matchup tonight, but also tomorrow. And one of the biggest of the season, to be sure, Obi, the Edmonton Eskimos and the Toronto Argonauts. When they met back on August the 14th, it was Edmonton with the better record. Now it is Toronto, clearly the favorite heading into Commonwealth Stadium.
Well, Toronto's football team looks so good right now. I mean, they don't have any weaknesses, and they're trying to find one more slot back to make that offense even more potent. And as soon as they get that ironed out, watch out, because they just don't have any problems right now.
I'll tell you what's remarkable is the line that Vegas has posted on this game. They've made the Argos 11 or 12-point favorites in Edmonton, which is unbelievable.
Now, wait a minute. Let's
in Edmonton.
Yeah. In Edmonton.
Now, let's clear something up about, you had mentioned snow.
Yes. Well,
Where'd you get that from anyway, Marty?
I can't divulge my sources.
What weatherman told you it was going to be snowing in Edmonton?
No.
There's not going to be snow, is there, Marty?
But apparently there was some talk about it. Now it isn't going to snow.
Okay, no snow in Edmonton and no snow on your TV set, because we're all hooked up again. Let's head back to Winnipeg Stadium in the second quarter. Back to John Wells, Dave Archer, and Glenn Suter.
Our apologies for technical difficulties that have prevented you from watching all of this football game from Winnipeg Stadium tonight. But we are back with 8:46 to go till halftime. The Blue Bombers on top 7-1 and threatening to add to that total with a first down inside the BC 30. Vargas all kinds of time, decides to grab a couple himself. Who was open? I know that someone had to be open from the look on your face, David Archer.
Well, I think he did a good job of reading coverage, but I think he gave up on his protection a little too soon. I thought the defensive line did a good job. And speaking of good jobs, here's Dexter Dawson, and Dexter's thrown a touchdown once this season, and he gets another completion. He's 2 for 2. He's probably the highest rated passer in the league right now.
And I would think so.
And that was really the only big play we missed in the last couple of minutes. But it was a big one for Dexter Dawson and the Bombers.
Dawson to abandon for 34 yards to keep this drive rolling right now. 2nd and 8, Winnipeg. Here's the heat. Vargas slipped. Got it away. A little shaky there because there were interception possibilities. Virgil Robertson moving across the middle.
Well, it's an interesting look defensively because Virgil Robertson is usually designated to rush the passer, but this time he lines up in the middle of the field and then drops, and Chris Vargas, I don't know if he saw him or not, but almost threw it right to him. Virgil Robinson sort of slipped, or he's intercepting that pass and taking it the other way.
Vargas was looking for Milt Stiegel. Westwood in now. Good on 2 of 3. He missed his first from 43 yards out. Kicking with the wind here. It's a fake. The Canadian rifle. Bob Cameron complete for a first down. Sean Graham made the catch.
We've got everybody throwing footballs tonight, John.
Out of Acadia University, where he always remembers himself more as a quarterback than a punter. He's been a Blue Bomber for 18 seasons now. Bob Cameron.
This is a design fake. Sean Graham going out in the flat and picking it up. And I'll just, for all those people keeping track at home, Bob Cameron in his career is 7 of 16 passing for 127 yards. 1 interception and no touchdowns.
Now the Bombers think they have a first down. Well, and I thought they did too, but the Lions are questioning where the ball was spotted here. So hang on a second. The Canadian Rifles completion may not be for a first down. I didn't see any flags down there, so it seems to be a matter of where they spotted the ball, David.
You don't see the fake field goal a lot, and they're trying to determine probably who's eligible, where this guy came from to catch the football, and
perhaps it is a question of Graham being eligible.
All right, no infraction on the play. It's first down, Winnipeg.
No infraction, no flag. He was eligible.
Bob Cameron holds seniority in that group that they had right there, and he probably won out in that one.
Well, he's likely older than the officials. That's what I'm saying. So he's saying, you know, I mean, I've been around longer than you guys. He's eligible. We drew up the play. I made sure it was legal. Come on, that's a first down.
Bomber drive continues. Couple of interesting plays. The pass by Dexter Dawson.
One-sided was.
And on the fake, Cameron completing to Sean Graham. So it is Winnipeg first down at the BC 18. Bombers leading by 6 at 7-1. Vargas has played well for Winnipeg. Little play action fake, barely got it away. And another opportunity for an interception down there. Greg Frères had a shot at that one.
Well, Greg Frères is going to take a shot at the interception, but Vargas was under tremendous pressure. Stiegel's going to work down the field on Rasheed Gale, and Greg Frères comes from the robbing the curl position and flies out there, but Vargas under pressure barely got anything on that football.
Second and 10. Winnipeg at the BC 18. No one home again. Dawson was in the area. Now Vargas ran into some problems in this area a week ago.
Well, it looked like to me that time Craig Hendrickson runs right into his quarterback as he's trying to throw the football. He had Boyko coming over the middle, and looked like his lineman got in his way as he tried to release it, because if he has this on target, Boyko scores.
Yeah, Boyko or Dexter Dawson both on a double post pattern were wide open, and Vargas just couldn't pull the trigger. Craig Hendrickson in the way.
Westwood good from 20 and 46. He missed from 43. This will not be a fake. Bombers have 10 points on the board. Bit of a turnaround at Winnipeg Stadium. Vargas has been hot tonight.
Where was he? Did he come from the two-back side? Was he the tight end? Yeah, but was it two-back side?
Special teams coach Frank Smith discussing things with Adam Rita at the Lions bench. Right now, the Lions trying to get back, trailing by 9. Here's Sean Millington. Good way to do it. On first down, Millington racks up another big gain. Brought down by Shannon Garrett.
Well, the offensive line for the BC Lions doing a pretty good job, considering they've had to move around in different positions. And this time, Mo Elowanibi is going to pull along the outside with Chuck Bradley and open up a pretty big hole for Sean Millington.
Nice tackle by Robert Davis, too, to come up out of the secondary and tackle a 220-pound running back.
Lions out at the 46 for the first down. Damon Allen
Millington again. Another big hole. Oh, Sean Millington dragged down near the 45-yard line.
You know, this is a factor that the Winnipeg Blue Bomber defense hadn't really figured on, although they've seen them on film. They haven't played against them this year. Last time these two teams played, Sean Millington did not carry the football once. So they're not used to tackling this big guy.
22 yards for Millington. And look where the Lions are now, already inside the Winnipeg 45. 3 in a row. This time the Bombers have it covered a little bit better as Dwayne Knights made the tackle.
Sorry, John, I want to ask the quarterback something here now. You've run 3 plays in a row to Sean Millington. What are you thinking maybe the next call?
Well, you'd like to think that he might play action.
That's what I'm thinking.
Of course, you're a safety. You're thinking the same thing. But, I mean, keep giving the big horse the ball and let the offensive line come off. Mike Withicombe, who leads that offensive line, loves the block for the big-time running back. And as you know, that he blocked for Mike Pringle back in the day.
This is 2nd and 7. Allen himself, first run of the game. It's wide open for Damon Allen. And another BC first down. Carter landed on Allen's helmet. I thought it might have been a little late, but no flags. Offensive coordinator Charlie Carpenter was in charge of things yesterday when Adam Rita was detained and couldn't make it to Winnipeg in time for the news conference. Nice guy, enjoyable person to be around. Play action fake on first down. Allen on the run. Trevathan down to the 5. He's down to the 2. Mike Trevathan, first time he's had his mitts on the ball. And there's a marker.
Major foul, roughing the passer, Winnipeg 51.
So they get Grant Carter.
Well, Grant Carter gets flagged for roughing the passer, but this is all created by the play fake. You talked about play action pass to Millington. There it is. And then Damon at his best on the move makes a great throw to the inside, which is where the defender was not. Trevathan makes the nice catch in traffic.
And you know why Grant Carter gets this penalty? Because his assignment on the play was containment. And he bought the play action fake for Sean Millington, was frustrated, got to the outside and hit Damon Allen late.
So the Lions will have 3 cracks at it from the Blue Bomber 1. It's 1st and goal. Millington. The ball squirted loose. Now they call it a touchdown. Lions are celebrating after the official.
Who gets credit? I think Todd Furtick might have his first touchdown. He's on the bottom of that pile. That ball came out of Sean Millington's chest right on the exchange. One of those offensive linemen down there may have it. Okay, it's not Furtick.
That guy right there has the football.
Mike Withicombe, if he's lying on it, it's...
Well, it's got to be
Well,
Withicombe.
He doesn't have it.
Oh, it's Doug Davies, the
Doug
backup.
Davies. No, he doesn't. He's never spiked the football, so he's just...
That's Corey Mantica. We've named them all.
We've got them all.
I'm not sure who had it.
Well, we know Millington didn't have it. He didn't get it from the jump, and a monster hit as he comes in, and you see the ball squirting out. And then it's just a scramble, and I think every one of the offensive linemen did touch it before it looked like...
They passed it around at the bottom of the pile. I think it was Doug Davies. Bisaglia adds to the BC total, and it's a 2-point ball game. 6 plays to cover 75 yards in a time of 3:22, and the Lions are just 2 away now. Well, one of the ugliest touchdowns in CFL history has been scored by the BC Lions here to get right back in the game. Corey Mantica being congratulated by his teammates. Sean Millington fumbled the ball crossing the line. There was a scramble for it in the end zone, and Mantica gets credit.
Oh, we got all our names on the air anyway.
Yeah. We can't mention the offensive lineman enough. Montgomery returning for Winnipeg, and that's a great one. Out to the 51-yard line.
Well, you know, all the offensive line were in on the play because it was short yardage. I thought Doug Davies originally had it, and I thought he maybe handed the ball over to Corey Mantica, but the replay shows something a little bit different. Millington loses it right off the start. Ball kind of bounces around, and Corey Mantica, number 68, sits on it right there and then scoops it up. So
basically what you're saying is he hatched a touchdown.
He hatched it. Whoa!
Big hit on Montgomery. Wow.
Well, Kelly Lockbaum steps up and makes the pop, but I love the way Tyrone Montgomery is hitting and accelerating into the hole.
What a hit from Kelly Lockbaum. Replaced Ty Chapman 3-4 games ago, doing a consistent job of run stopping for the BC Lions. That's how you play middle linebacker.
Gain is 4, 2nd and 6. Bombers lead by 2. Vargas with time. On target, Boyko makes the catch, and a nice run afterwards. Alan Boyko. Couple of clutch catches.
Well, you know what happens here, Glenn, is this is the exact play they had on the goal line. They had the double post, and this time the ball's not overthrown. Boyko catches it.
Here's Alan Boyko right here, going to work into the middle of the field. He just finds the open area. Maurice Kelly jumps the underneath route from Milt Stiegel. That's where the void was in the zone.
Vargas on first down. Montgomery makes the catch. He's halfway to another Blue Bomber first down with 1:58 to go in the opening half.
Well, coming into this game, Glenn, Alan Boyko had only had 3 receptions in the last 3 ball games, and he comes up with a big catch to extend this drive.
Of course, last week came up with his 2nd touchdown of the year for Alan Boyko against Montreal and Douglas Pratt.
7 yards for Montgomery, 2nd and 3 for the Blue Bombers. Nice pass. O'Bannon made the catch, and the Bombers are threatening to score. They're inside the 10.
Now Chris Vargas has got to start thinking that they've got to start taking advantage of good field position and continuing to finish off drives. Field goals aren't going to get it done, and this is another good drive by Chris Vargas, but now they're in the green zone, like the Winnipeg Blue Bombers like to call it, and they got to punch it in.
Vargas good on 10 of 14 for 81 yards. He has to get to the end zone here with 1:23 to go till halftime. Set up inside the 10. Vargas missed the target, looking for O'Bannon again. I do believe, or at least O'Bannon was the closest receiver.
Well, I think this is a good decision by Chris Vargas. I don't think he liked what he saw to the right side of the field. He had Teron O'Bannon running the out, and you see Robert Holland is shadowing him all the way, so he throws the football away just as Johnny Scott comes free and hits him in the face.
2nd and goal to go at the Lions 7. Vargas with time. Dawson couldn't make the catch. Coverage by Leonard Humphreys. Was that catchable, or was the coverage great?
Well, I thought the coverage was there. I thought Humphreys was there, but it's a good throw. And Dexter, this is a play that Dexter's going to go back and say, I need to make this catch for you.
Dexter Dawson is right here, comes right across the middle, and great receivers. And Dexter Dawson, in fairness, is learning the receiver position, but they take a step back towards the football and use their hands. Chris Vargas sees one that should have been caught and is definitely obviously disappointed, but the great ones come back and use their hands. Dexter Dawson is still learning that.
You make a great point there. The reason you use your hands is because the DB is going to come through you and collision your body against the ball.
Westwood gets another opportunity. He's connected on 3 of 4 from 18, 46, and 20. And missed his first try from 43. Interesting discussion now as they've fired a flag down there with 1 minute, 11 seconds to go till halftime. They're going to hand out a ticket there. You see the guy
Time count violation. Winnipeg number 70. The yards are declined. Timer, we're going to start the clock.
Okay, well, I don't have a 70.
Neither do I. So maybe he was talking about Westwood here. Are they trying to move the ball back a little bit to get a little better angle? Are they too close for this field goal from that angle?
I'd like to say that I don't know the psyche of kickers, and I'm glad to say that because I have no idea what he's doing here.
Well, you used to hang around with one. Suits?
I held for him.
Well, I did that, but then immediately got off the field.
Well, they got to get the clock situation sorted out, and they're going to go ahead and kick it once they get that all set. And the official blows it in. But another missed opportunity for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, where they should have had 6 points. And the Lions rise to the occasion and hold them to potentially 3 if they can ever get this playoff. You know, and these opportunities, when you get in the green zone, and Jeff Reinbold knows very well that you only get so many of them, and if you don't take advantage of them, they can come back to haunt you later in the game.
And they've done everything well tonight. They played good defense, they played good special teams, and their offense has moved the football. They just have not been able to put it in the end zone. And credit Chris Vargas, he's continued to move the team down the field, and all he can do is put the ball on the money, and people have to make some plays for him.
It's going to be open all the time, isn't it?
Well, you know.
All right, so then let's do this. Let's put him inside and let Milt be outside.
Here's Westwood. He nails it. A 5-point lead for the Bombers with 1:02 to go, and that's still time for Damon Allen to respond.
Well, that was a very interesting comment. Jeff Reinbold and Joe Powpow talking on the sideline about he's going to be open all the time, Dexter Dawson, from that wide receiver position, and that maybe they should switch Milt Stiegel and Dexter Dawson, put Stiegel outside. If that's the guy that's going to open up, let's get it to a more experienced receiver.
Well, Dexter's made a lot of plays for this team, but this is the second week in a row he's lost one down in the green zone area. It's the scoring zone. One resulted in an interception last week that ended the game and lost the game in Montreal. This time they get no touchdown.
It was there for the Blue Bombers. They settled for the field goal, and the Lions counter with Sean Millington. "59 seconds till the half." Second and long for the Lions. Allen has Thompson. Thompson with a good move, brought down by Ferguson. It'll be a BC first down with 42 seconds till halftime.
Well, I wonder what the boys will say at halftime today.
They might be all over Dex Dawson. It's a possibility. Rod, Marty, Les, and Bob set to go. Friday night at the half. About 33 seconds away. Allen.
Come on!
Another first down for BC. And a flag comes down. Costly error here for the Blue Bombers. Rizzoli's first catch of the game. There was a little shove when he was already out of bounds. So this could get BC into field goal range.
Well, it is a crucial penalty. Nick Ferguson with the late hit.
Necessary roughness. Winnipeg 33. First down.
No question, Nick Mazzoli was a good yard out of bounds when Nick Ferguson gave him the two-hander in the back.
How about the play by the safety net, though? Kept him from hitting the ground.
I thought that was well done.
And that's likely Nick Ferguson's argument. Hey, there was a net there.
There was
He
a
didn't
net
net himself. Well, this definitely could
cost 3 points.
3
Nick.
points, yeah. Or maybe more.
Yeah, at least 3.
Well, those are the kind of plays that keep you from being a winning football team.
First down. Allen with time. Look to take off. Now 23 seconds left. Tyrone Rogers
getting to the BC quarterback there.
Well, the defensive line for Winnipeg's had sort of an up-and-down season, but Tyrone Rogers has been the consistent factor throughout the year. He's 5 sacks coming in the game, 6 tackles for losses, which leads his team, and he comes up with a big play there.
Loss of 3, 2nd and 13. Allen got away. Still standing. 7 seconds left. A chance to add 3 more for BC.
Well, Corey Philpott sprinted on the field to get that timeout called because he knew Damon Allen, who'd likely be in charge of calling the timeout, was down. But I think Allen was just trying to get this one in good position for Louis.
I think he would like to have gotten 7, maybe scooted up in the pocket, made a throw, but this defensive line with the pressure package they have tonight has really kept themselves in their lanes and really hasn't given Damon Allen anywhere to run with the football.
There will not be much of a rush here. The Bombers have 3 men in the end zone, 2 kickers and Dexter Dawson. Cameron and Westwood will kick it out if it goes wide. And it is wide. So here's Bob Cameron nailing it out of the end zone. They try and kick it back in. No yards.
Okay, here's how it works.
William Caravana kicked it back in.
The ball can be kicked back and forth, and on every kick you have to give the 5 yards. On the second kick, the Lions obviously didn't, so that will be no point.
I kind of enjoyed it, though. It was a fun play.
Well, that's one of the unique Canadian football rules right there.
There you go.
Missed field goal, the ball can come on now. There's no way Bob Cameron's going to run it out, so he punts it.
And what he would like to do there is kick it out of bounds, but he couldn't.
So that Julio Caravana puts it back in. And Sean Millington standing right beside Cameron, so the no yards assessed and no point for the Lions.
But you can't end the half on a penalty. So we've got one more play, I do believe.
You know, and that's a group that gets minimal work during the week. When you go through your special teams, you might work on that for about a minute. You put the people on the field and then you run them off the field. They probably don't even get to assimilate the play. But that's great execution. That's guys knowing what they're supposed to do, studying the game plan.
So the Bombers get one play. Vargas goes down. And then land an entertaining opening half at Winnipeg Stadium. Bob Cameron, in his 18th CFL season, in the center of a lot of things here at Winnipeg Stadium tonight. It's the Bombers by 5 on Friday Night Football as we send you back to control.
Friday Night Football tonight.
Welcome back to our control studio at the half. Hey, that's Canadian football, kicking it in and out of the end zone. 25 years ago, in the Western Final, Saskatchewan beat Winnipeg, and similar scenarios, they kicked it in and out and then got the no yards call. But it is Winnipeg leading BC Lions 13-8 at the half. Rod Smith back with Obi, Les, and Marty, and good football, Les, as well, involves hitting. We had some of that in the second quarter.
Yeah, we could do without that kicking back and forth stuff.
Come on.
Come on, that was great stuff.
But anyway,
that was great stuff.
We start week 13 off with some good hits, I tell you that. At this point in the season, defenses have to pick up their game, and this guy who's stepping in, what's his name, Locator or whatever? Bomb. Drops the bomb. Watch how he just drops the bomb on this guy. Oh, and if you could just hear the sound, that is a hit. That is what gets his other players just totally excited about, you know, playing in this game.
Yeah, but I don't think the Lions are doing enough of that tonight.
Well, you see the offensive players getting hit there, but there's also a little contact on the other side of the ball. And usually the defensive players are the guys making the hits, but in this case, Alan Boyko catches the ball over the middle, and he drilled the free safety after the catch. And if you watch right here, you'll see number 17 catch this quick post over the middle, and watch what he does with it after. Boom.
Okay, all right. We're allowed to give him one hit, too. All right.
Hey, that time that DB became the hit E instead of the hitter.
You know,
You're allowed to get one in.
You know what's impressed me tonight, guys? At the beginning of the season, We were led to believe that Jeff Reinbold was going to show us all kinds of trickery and use the element of surprise a great deal. He's finally taken them to the 13th game of the season to show that with that fake field goal. I mean, they've got nothing to lose now. Yeah, so they might as well go for the fake field goal. But that was a smart play. They only ended up with a 3 anyway, but it was a smart play.
Marty, it took him 13 games to learn who these guys were.
Right, well, yeah, but that was also his choice. He was the one that decided to send everybody out of there, like Katie Williams and everybody else.
Let's make this note that BC's defense still hasn't given up a touchdown yet.
Haven't given up a touchdown. It has been 4 field goals and a single for the Bombers. So, yeah, they haven't found the promised land yet, but they do have the lead, a 5-point lead, 13-8 over the Lions. Lots to talk about when we come back. Friday Night Football at the half. Join us again.
Sam, nothing here really to talk about other than the fact that I think he wants to try to find Milt Stiegel across the middle of the field, and Stiegel gets knocked off right there by Greg Frears with the ball in the air, but no call.
Yeah, that's where he looked like he was going with it. I don't know if they'll put that one in the playbook. You see 2 Lion defenders knocking each other off.
Cameron's second punt of the ball game. His first traveled 52 yards. Thompson returning for BC. Battle dragged him down with a little help from Elberg. There's an injured Bomber in the middle of that pile down there. We'll check that out when we return to Winnipeg Stadium. Doug Hocking was the injured Blue Bomber as we went to break.
Take it easy, Otis.
He says he's okay. Lions were penalized on the return on sportsmanlike conduct. As a result, they'll begin at the 21. Was there early movement there?
Dwayne Knight thinks so.
Illegal procedure. BC 64.
That's Big Mo. And he couldn't get his momentum stopped, obviously.
Here's Big Mo right there. Now, Big Mo is usually a tackle, but that's no excuse for him because now he's closer to the quarterback. At the guard position, he should be able to hear the signal a little bit better.
105 yards in penalties against the Lions thus far. Millington. Dwayne Knight. The ball came loose. The Bombers say they have it. Dwayne Knight made the play. Bombers have another turnover in BC territory.
Well, Dwayne Knight's the leading tackler on this team, and he slid across and made the hit in the hole, and this is what a linebacker's paid to do, Glenn, and slide across and fill holes.
And once you think he got on top of Sean Millington, it was a bit of a fight, and he rips the ball out with his left hand and punches it through, and Millington can't recover. As you see the blue jersey swarm to the football, but that's a pumped-up Dwayne Knight to get some big-time momentum back for the Bombers right now.
Third fumble for a loss by the BC Lions tonight. First and 10, Winnipeg. The BC 18. Nice run by Tyrone Montgomery.
David, you mentioned it early, but Tyrone Montgomery is hitting that hole full speed.
This guy has got a burst that the only guy I've seen hit the hole like this in this league is Mike Pringle. Watch him hit the hole and accelerate. North and south. Super pickup on first down, 8 yards.
11 carries for 34 for Montgomery. He gets it again and has a couple more. Spot will be important to both teams here. Where will they put the ball down? And now I would think Chris Vargas is thinking about how he's going to get into the end zone this time.
Wow, most definitely. I mean, here's another opportunity for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to take advantage of the momentum change with the turnover and the fact that they're inside the 20 again.
Well, you got to be expecting man coverage here, and I think 85, Milt Stiegel has to touch the football in one of these next 2 plays. You don't get into a first down, Stiegel needs to see it.
Stiegel has 1 catch for 6 yards. That's all tonight. Bombers first and goal to go at the BC 8. Montgomery didn't see it coming in time to make the catch.
Well, and it didn't really matter whether he saw it or not because Dexter Dawson didn't block the right person. He was supposed to block the slot cover man, in Gale, and he didn't get him blocked. And if Tyrone makes that catch, he gets hit right in the face by Rasheed Gale.
I was wondering if this was maybe a lateral, but by the replay, it definitely looks like Vargas threw that forward.
2nd and goal to go. Bombers are at the BC 8-yard line. Critical play here for Vargas and the Bombers. Over the middle, no catch. O'Bannon, the intended receiver, drew double coverage, including Maurice Kelly moving in. How much did he miss it by?
Well, the ball's thrown where it needs to be thrown. I'm just really surprised that Milt Stiegel isn't being put up to bat in these situations. They had man coverage both plays, and neither one of them gave an opportunity. The first play wasn't even designed for Stiegel. And there's the throw that's just a little out of the reach of Turan O'Bannon. They just don't put Stiegel up to bat.
But David, and I watched Milt Stiegel on that last play, and Rasheed Gale jammed him at the line of scrimmage and did not give him a free release. And I think Vargas had to go somewhere else.
Up to Westwood, and he nails it. It's been all Troy Westwood tonight. You're 6 of 7 field goals for the Bombers, 19 points.
You're exactly right on Rasheed Gale's jam on Stiegel, as Westwood pounds another one through here tonight. But why not? You know the defensive back's going to play a hard inside technique. Give him an opportunity to, and I say hard inside technique, I mean take away the middle of the field from him. Give him a chance to run maybe a corner route for you. You got to give him an opportunity to get up to bat for you.
Yeah, and you know he knows how to shake a guy, so once he gets off the jam, and Vargas had plenty of time, I agree, to go to the outside of the field, but Rasheed Gale is hanging in there right now and did a nice job of taking it away.
And again, Vargas can't get the Bombers into the end zone. He's played pretty well tonight and has Winnipeg on top, 19-11. But no touchdowns for Winnipeg. Good play action fake by Damon Allen, throwing on the run. He's got Thompson.
I think Damon Allen was over the line of scrimmage when he threw the football.
There is a penalty marker down in that vicinity now.
The line of scrimmage is the 35-yard line.
Illegal pass, BC 9.
This is something as a quarterback you just feel. You don't necessarily see the line of scrimmage. You're not looking down at it. You just feel where the line of scrimmage is. And Damon actually loses his feel of where it is on this play. And what you're looking for is the football beyond the 35-yard line when he lets it go.
It was a little hard to tell, but it looked like he had at least half a step over that line.
And there wasn't a big argument from Allen. Millington wrapped up by Garrett. Second and a bunch, and 2 Bombers.
That's what
shaken up.
That's what happens when that truck goes through the middle.
Dwayne Knight, number 8. 23, Shannon Garrett.
Millington's fumbled twice tonight, and he had that ball wrapped up like he was carrying something very precious, which the football is.
Well, Dwayne Knight was the first one in on the tackle. Shannon Garrett came in to try and help out and got caught in the mix. But you're right, David. I mean, he's hanging on to that football. There's Dwayne Knight, and he just rolls on Shannon Garrett's leg, and can only hope that that's not a serious knee, because that's usually what happens when you get down in there and your knee gets twisted underneath, knee or ankle.
Knight appears to be okay at the Bomber bench. 3:56 to go, third quarter. It's the Bombers by 8 at 19-11. Lions looking to wrap up a playoff spot with a victory here tonight and take a serious run at first place in the CFL West if they do so. Millington, 12 carries, 76 yards, and a couple of fumbles. Tomorrow night, from Commonwealth in Edmonton, battle of the big teams. Front-running Argonauts against the front-running Eskimos. Gord Miller will be there for that with Lee Pedersen. And where are you off to on the CBC? Calgary and Hamilton.
Calgary and Hamilton. Hamilton trying to regroup.
And later that afternoon, back on TSN, the Alouettes and the Rough Riders from Taylor Field.
I'll tell you what, if anybody misses the Toronto-Edmonton game, they're not a fan of this league, because that should be a classic tomorrow night on TSN.
Garrett heading to the sidelines with a little help. So the Bombers will make some adjustments in the secondary.
Well, what they'll probably have to do, John, is put Robert Davis at the halfback position, and there's Sammy Brennan will come in and play safety.
Second and 10 for the Lions. Allen from the shotgun. Near side, he's got a target, no catch. Larry Thompson bobbled it. Allen looks a little frustrated there, but Thompson was trying to stay inbounds and hold on to the ball at the same time.
Well, the ball was well thrown by Damon Allen. This is a timing route. It's a matter of going up, catching it, and tapping the feet down. He had enough room to get him down, just didn't concentrate.
Yeah, and that's when those guys, when they do make that play and just keep that toe in bounds and make the catch, that's tough to do. You got to think about a couple of things and take your concentration off the ball. You can drop one.
Pasaglia, a good kick, chasing Dawson back to the 25. Billington was bearing down. Dawson escaped one and then got wrapped up by Joe Fleming. 50-yard punt by Lou Pasaglia, and there wasn't much there on the return. Alfred Jackson sitting this one out. He was listed as a starter until yesterday, but has a knee problem and is second in the CFL in receiving yards.
Now the word is, if this was a playoff game, possibly Alfred Jackson plays in it. But BC Lions and Adam Rita definitely want Jackson down the stretch and for sure in the playoffs, so they'll rest him tonight.
Good kick by Louis Pasaglia has the Bombers hemmed in near the 20-yard line. Dawson is open, makes the catch, and is forced out short of the first down.
Well, from the category of ugly but effective, there's a completion from Vargas, because that one was quacking. As Shannon Garrett looks like they're looking at at his ankle.
Another one. You need to pull out. Just relax the phone.
Well, he's had a tough season. He's beat up. He's got a broken hand. You see the big glove on his hand. He's had some leg problems, some shoulder problems. Tough kid. He'll be back.
And leads the team in interceptions.
Second and 2. Montgomery gets the call and gets the first down. He's out across the 35-yard line. He's not going to give up this running back spot easily, Tyrone Montgomery, with Ronald Williams watching on the sidelines.
BC 33. First down, Winnipeg.
Ferguson was offside.
Now, there's certain quarterbacks that just have a knack for pulling you offside, and Chris Vargas is one of the best in the league. Just using the hard staggered count, and Lockbaum gets drawn offside. That's a big ally for the quarterback in a short yardage situation. You know the snap count offensively. You try to draw them off. You don't. You go ahead and run the play, but they got a good running play and the draw too.
How do you describe Chris Vargas's night?
I think Chris has had a solid night. He just hasn't been able to do anything for him down in the red zone. I think the night would be capped if he can get something done on this drive for them.
With the penalty, it's first down Winnipeg. And with a football, Tyrone Montgomery for another 5. 14 carries for 48 yards for Montgomery.
Wow, this is Shannon Garrett. This is the first injury right over here. Well, now let me get there. Here's the second injury down here. I'm going to sharpen my pencil and get right back to that, but this is a tough kid.
Second and 5, Blue Bombers on the 40-yard line. Vargas back in the shotgun with 4 receivers to the far side. Wide open is Stiegel. Big game. He could score. Stiegel with the inside track. He's got it. Touchdown.
Oh, boy. Is this guy unbelievable or what? You know, that is amazing. You know, sometimes a year like this just happens. I mean, you can't you can't plan for a year like this where he's catching less than 5 balls a game, but almost close to 100 a game in yardage.
Oh, it's a blown coverage. And credit Chris Vargas for finding the open target, Milt Stegall, but the guy just continues to make big plays. Whether they're blown coverages or great catches, 85 makes the plays.
That'll get the average back up a 70-yard touchdown. So he's got 2 catches on the night for 76 yards.
And it's his 8th consecutive game with at least 1 touchdown.
10 in total for Milt Stegall, who leads the CFL this season.
The feeling that Stegall is kind of a time bomb ticking, waiting to go off. And you see the coverage is blown. Nobody's there. Leonard Humphreys tries to get back, but once he gets behind, this guy's got blinding speed. Nobody's catching him.
Well, David Benefield was the one that put Vargas out, but this time Boyko's got the assignment down, cuts Benefield to the line. That gives Vargas time to throw, but boy, I tell you what, a nice job by Chris Vargas to recognize the bust in the defensive secondary and find his #1 receiver. The reason Milt Stegall will wait, sometimes these big gains come late in the game is because on every single play, this guy's running hard. He goes full speed every play, and sooner or later, he's going to break one.
How about Milt Stegall? The first thing he says is, thank you, offensive line.
Yeah.
He knows that ball doesn't come out of there unless the O-line's doing their job. And both the running backs, Boyko and Montgomery, got their man.
Westwood's kick out. Corey Philpott. This place is alive. Well covered by Bomber special teams.
They can't stop him.
1 catch for Milt Stegall last week.
He's a man.
105 yards for the touchdown.
Last week, the week before that, the week before that. But here, Chris Vargas is going to find Milt Stegall. This one ended up being 105 yards against man coverage. But you see the speed. He just runs away from the secondary. You can pick a week. 85 made a play.
And Harold Nash in that instance and Leonard Humphreys in the play here tonight can only just turn to each other and say, you know, he's done it to a lot of good ones all year. Let's forget about it.
Lions try and regroup. Play is whistled down. Baker made the catch, but the whistle had gone. Bombers leading 26-11. 57 seconds left.
BC 65.
Third quarter.
Chuck Bradley gets called in the procedure call, and these changes must be affecting the BC Lions because they've had a couple of procedure calls up front.
Yeah, this offense has just looked out of sync for the majority part of the night. You know, you've seen Millington run a few, but other than that, the offense has been jumping offside. We've seen time count violations. We've seen receivers offside. Just been out of sync tonight offensively.
And they still are. Damon Allen unable to figure things out, at least for the moment down there.
Time count violation. BC #9.
Well, Damon Allen is upset with the official because he gets mad because he didn't know that the time was even blown in from the first infraction. So he's back there, thinks he has lots of time to call the play, and he cannot believe that he gets called on a time count.
130 yards in penalties against the Lions. The Bombers have 30. Allen, wide open target, and there's a penalty marker. As Thompson made the catch, Hamilton over to make the tackle. And which way is the call here?
Well, Larry Thompson was 4 or 5 yards away from Brandon Hamilton, and I think he's out there because he pushed him.
Pass interference. BC 80.
Larry Thompson pushed out. This one will come back.
They're going to get a great look at it. They're going to be able to make the call at home.
Oh, I don't know.
My.
Oh, that's... Oh.
You guys both...
Oh, boy. That was a bad call by the officials. I mean, I saw him so wide open, so I thought maybe he must have pushed him.
Well,
but
let's get the Academy Award out now because Brandon Hamilton gets my vote.
Wow.
The Lions are looking at 1st and 28. Larry Thompson to the near side. Allen from the shotgun. The draw play. I was going to say going nowhere, but Millington made a little bit out of it. He's a long way from the first down.
Well, this is basically all Sean Millington because didn't look like he had a whole lot at the point of attack, but he just kept working. The legs kept churning. Grant Carter can fold down. He has a shot up. D. Osborne does as well, and he gets that all on his own.
Well, they got out of the play what they wanted. They got about a 10 or 12-yard gain. Now Damon is back in a reasonable situation to try to convert here in 2nd and 16.
From the shotgun. He's got time. Great pass. Has Thompson. And Thompson gets the Lions out of a deep hole. Larry Thompson brought down by Brandon Hamilton on the final play of the 3rd quarter in Winnipeg.
Well, you called it, John. This is a super throw. You're going to see Larry Thompson. You're not going to see the ball, but where the ball is, look where the ball is. That is on the money.
I think I could have caught that one.
Yeah,
right in the numbers.
With your speed, you would have been that far upfield. Back to Friday Night Control before we return here for the 4th quarter in Winnipeg.
All right, thank you, John. And boy, the Lions do need some offense now, falling behind. In fact, before that touchdown by Milt Stegall, the only TD in the game by an offensive lineman, Corey Mantica, gives you an idea of what's been going on tonight. But that Lion offense, nowhere to be found, really, in most of this football game, Marty.
Rod, you know what's amazing? The Lions came into this game tonight having scored the 2nd most points in the league. Just Toronto was ahead of them in points scored. And yet, you know, how do you account for the lackadaisical offense? They haven't done anything. I guess it's because Alfred Jackson and Al Shipman, who are their 2 biggest play guys, are not there. They're the kinds of guys that are like Stegall is for Winnipeg.
Yeah, Stegall always gets that big one. We talked about at the beginning about what I do to cover him, just watch the deep ball. But you know what? What's ironic about this is that Leonard Humphreys talked about it in our pregame that he hoped that him and Rashad Gale didn't get confused in their coverage or miss any communications. And they did, and it cost them a big one.
We praise BC, Obi, for turnovers and not giving up the ball, but that's been a problem tonight.
Well, you got to give Winnipeg credit. Going into this game, as Les pointed out at the beginning of the show, that BC was the best in the plus-minus giveaway takeaway. But tonight, Winnipeg's really been all over BC, and they're hustling and going to the football. And we'll show you a player where Dwayne Knight meets Sean Millington right in the hole, and he just puts a good lick on him and knocks the ball loose. You'll notice Sean was running very upright. He's got that kind of a tendency, so he should lower his shoulder a little more when the contact's coming.
And Winnipeg couldn't find the end zone until Milt Stegall did. 6 field goals and a single, and then the Stegall touchdown, commanding 26-11 lead, heading to the 4th quarter, back to Winnipeg Stadium.
Ferguson Stegall relaxing on the Blue Bomber bench.
Is that a little air guitar going on there?
Yeah, I couldn't tell what he was playing.
You know, the guys back in the studio talked about, or at least Marty talked about, Alfred Jackson and Al Shipman not being here. Well, you got to get the ball to the people that are here, and Mike Trevathan has touched the ball 1 time tonight.
Good point. Lions have an opportunity here on 1st down. Allen rears back and fires. Look who he was going for, Trevathan.
I've got a little radio mic in Damon's ear there.
Just reminded me, forgot 77, and he'll pick up on it.
Trevathan had got inside Reggie Carthon on coverage and was open. Damon just overthrew it
by a bunch.
Well, he's got a young safety in there in Sammy Brennan. Sammy was in Ottawa last year as a rookie, and he's been with 3 teams since then, so 4 teams in 2 seasons trying to find his niche. He's got great size, but not very much experience.
2nd and 10 Lions. Allen drops back to midfield, and he's got Trevathan for a huge 1st down. Borgella wrapped him up.
Now I'm starting to believe Dave Archer. Yeah, I think he has been talking to David Allen. Why'd you get him in between quarters there? Because that's 2 in a row.
Well, Mike Trevathan coming into this ball game, as you see, a nice little post corner move that pulled Reggie Carthen out of the field, created the throwing lane there for Damon Allen. Had caught 37 passes coming in and 25 in the last 5 games. So he's been an active part of this offense, just not tonight.
Lions at the Blue Bomber 27. Allen shotgun at first down. He won't get him away. Wrapped up by Davis, who was coming in the blitz. Grant Carter was also there to meet Davis at the quarterback.
Well, Damon gets caught here, Glenn, because he doesn't see the safety blitz, or as Davis, he never picked him up.
Yeah, he didn't see him because on the other side of the field from the inside position, Larry Thompson was down the seam wide open. And when you blitz, sometimes that's going to happen where a guy will spring. Now, can the quarterback see him in time? That time Damon Allen didn't.
The loss is 10. This is 2nd and 20. Allen on the run. He has a target and a first down if they call that a catch. Baker has the ball, and it is a completed pass.
Completed pass, John, but he's going to be short. Yeah.
Sorry.
Jocelyn Borgella got caught. He was the extra defensive back in on the coverage, coming on the blitz off the corner, and he gets caught. Damon Allen gets outside him. Shalom Baker comes up with a big catch, but it'll be short.
So the Lions will take 3 here. They're trailing by 15, so they need a couple of scores to get even. Louis Pasaglia on target, and it's 26-14 after Pasaglia's field goal. 12:27 to go in the final quarter of Friday Night Football. Blue Bombers have the lead of time of possession in this one at 25-39. Stiegel's 70-yard touchdown stands out as the play of the game thus far. The Bombers are going to have to scrap for a victory. They lead 26-14. Lions kickoff. Dexter Dawson beginning at the 15. Millington tracked him down. Hang on, that was B.J. Gallus who made the tackle.
Well, on that last drive for the BC Lions, I think Grant Carter is trying to say he was being held on a couple of plays.
And does a defensive lineman talk to the referee about anything else?
I don't think so. That's it. And for the most part, that's the only way you could stop a guy like Grant Carter, is to hold him.
Bombers beginning at the 30, first down. In the lead. Montgomery hit hard. Maurice Kelly was there first, number 11. Backed up by Scott.
Maurice Kelly leads the BC Lions in tackles, and you can see that when that head snaps back like that on Tyrone Montgomery, that's a big hit.
Yeah, I think he's getting a little tired of seeing 21 run through their defensive line. He decides to come up and make an issue of it.
He's the best player in the BC defense, but he hasn't been mentioned a lot in this one tonight. Big play there to hold the gain to 1 as 2nd and 9. Vargas shotgun. Looking deep. Tyrone Montgomery.
Wow, you know, this is the matchup that Chris Vargas definitely wanted. Tyrone Montgomery out weak, running against B.J. Gallus, who's had to play defensive line at times. But, hey, credit to B.J. Gallus. The rookie hangs in there against the guy who's pretty fast coming out of the backfield, Tyrone Montgomery.
Yeah, the coverage is there, but Tyrone doesn't do what Chris Vargas expects him to. You see those two coming off the field together.
He looked the wrong way, didn't he?
Just stand the ball. No, I'm going by you. See, all right?
He just wants him to take off and run by Gallus, and Gallus did a good job, Glenn. He stayed right there with him. You're right.
Bob Cameron. Down to the 40-yard line. Larry Thompson
Out to the 51. Cameron kicking against Lou Pasaglia at Winnipeg Stadium tonight. A battle of veteran punters on Friday Night Football. Welcome back to Winnipeg Stadium. It's a perfect night for Friday Night Football. John Wells along with David Archer here. And Glenn Suter over at the telestrator. All lonely over there by yourself?
I got my telestrator here. I'm okay. I got my pen. I've sharpened it. I'm ready for the next one.
You know, telestrator guys and kickers are a lot the same. Yeah.
Checking out an injury out near midfield, and they're still attending to the injured Blue Bomber, Doug Hocking, down there. Played for the BC Lions when he first joined the league, and here's a quick look at what happened to Hocking.
Doug Hocking is right in here.
Oh, got the old ankle rolled up again.
Yeah, right underneath.
Looks like he grabbed his knee, so looked like he rolled the knee up.
Hocking will get a cab ride to the dressing room to have that looked at.
Hockey's played really well this year for this defense. They've had a lot of injuries. Shante Peoples, a guy that had led this team in sacks and tackles before he went down. Hocking filled his spot and actually came in the game, had 2 sacks in the ball game. So, and he's a ball hawk on special teams. They'll miss Doug Hocking.
Meantime, the BC Lions have the ball. They're 1st and 10 at the Lion 50, trailing 26-14. Allen under the cover. He's off target, looking for Trevathan. Opportunity there for Robert Davis.
Well, we've seen BC play several times this year, and this is the most out of sync I've seen Damon Allen and his receivers all year long. That time he expected Mike Trevathan to hook up. Trevathan ran to the sidelines. The ball's thrown behind him, and you see a lot of body language. The 2 guys talking to one another, just looking for somebody to make a play for him.
2nd and 10 Lions. Big play for the Bomber defense. 10:26 to go. 4th quarter. Allen with a deep drop. All kinds of time. Now Carter wraps him up. Tyrone Rogers came in to finish off Damon Allen, but Carter made the play. And Allen is shaken up, holding his knee, his right knee.
Well, he has had a problem with that knee for the last 2 weeks, and in fact hasn't practiced in the first week of preparation the last 2 weeks in a row. And Damon Allen in a lot of pain after Grant Carter wrestled him to the ground.
Well, Damon's not a very big guy. He's only 6 feet, 170 pounds, and this is one of the great rushers in this league, Grant Carter. Once he wraps you up, probably a good idea to get on the ground. See, Damon's fighting him there. The knee gets wrapped up, gets fallen on.
Lou Pasaglia with what's left of the breeze at his back to Dexter Dawson on the run. Oh. Dawson got 1 block, and he's out near the 40.
Robert Davis just put Johnny Scott on his back. Robert Davis, you see Damon Allen being attended to on the sideline. He just crunched Scott.
15 yards on the return for Dexter Dawson, getting the Bombers decent field position.
You see Julio Caravata warming up, and I think if you start talking about guys you can ill afford to lose, Damon Allen is one of those guys.
I just got to show you guys. This is Johnny Scott right here. Watch this hit by Robert Davis. Wow, that's a blindsider.
Vargas and the Bombers have a 1st down at the Winnipeg 40. Nice play action fake by Vargas. Open far side. Is a receiver who can't get up after making the catch. Humphreys had him pinned. That was Dexter Dawson.
Well, it's a bootleg fake, as we see Damon Allen still getting some treatment on the sidelines. And I said before we got to the big hit on Johnny Scott, that if there's any team that can ill afford to lose a guy, this is the guy right here. BC cannot afford to lose Damon Allen because they changed dramatically with him out of the ball game.
And the great news is he's up walking around and putting all the weight on that leg.
Vargas is 2nd and 7.
He has O'Bannon. Good effort by O'Bannon to try and turn that into a first down, but he comes up a yard or two shy, bouncing off a couple of guys before being brought down 2 yards short of a first down.
Well, Maurice Kelly's going to make the play that allows everybody to get to the tackle. Kelly was the one that got his hands around the feet, made O'Bannon readjust, and then Robertson came in and finished things off.
The Lions are going to get the ball back, and which quarterback will we see come onto the field? Eamon Allen was putting weight on that knee.
8:39 to go in the final quarter as Cameron stands in his 18th CFL season, kicking for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Larry Thompson, an ex-Bomber on the return. This could be a big one. Robert Davis stretched out to make the tackle. He might have saved a touchdown.
Larry Thompson in this offseason did a lot of work on the weight, something he hadn't done for quite a while or even in his whole pro career. And he's got great leg strength, and you can see how he fought off that initial tackle to break into the open field.
Well, he got a super block from Corey Philpott on Wade Miller, who's the top special teams tackler in this league. And I didn't have any doubt that Damon Allen would be back in the ballgame.
For a BC first down at the Winnipeg 50. Allen, target far side. Shalon Baker. Allen has not had one of his better nights for the Lions, but he's having his best season, and there have been quite a few prior to that, including MVP years in '87 and '93. Winning Grey Cups for the Eskimos.
A guy with that kind of numbers, you don't want him on the bench. Lions are happy that he'd be able to bounce back and be back in this game.
2nd and 4. Intercepted. Ferguson has the interception. I thought Ferguson held on to the ball, but they say no.
Well, the officials were right on the spot and waved it off immediately. That ball went right through the hands of Nick Mazzoli. Nick Ferguson's the coverage guy on the top. He just sits up high, takes the ball off the deflection. No. Went right through and bounced. And Nick Ferguson didn't argue.
Offenses have been struggling in the last 4 possessions. Both teams 2 and out. The last 4 times they've had their hands on the football. Bissaglia is wide this time. Bombers decide to take it out. Here's Dexter Dawson. Stop at the 6. 26-14. Winnipeg in the lead. 7:09 to go in the 4th quarter of Friday Night Football. Friday Night Football game story thus far. Well, little Chris Vargas, 16 of 27. 196 yards passing. Allen, 183. Westwood has hit on 6 of 7. Mantika has his first CFL touchdown. Maybe the ugliest TD ever scored in the league.
He'll take it.
And Stiegel has a 70-yard TD for Winnipeg. Vargas looks at 1st and 10 from the 6-yard line, and Montgomery is going nowhere.
Now,
the point that you want to make is, why didn't they give up a single point?
I want to go right back here. It's 26-14, 12-point difference, and on that field goal attempt by Louis Bissaglia. Now, I don't know if Jeff Reinbold called and told Dexter Dawson to run it out, or Dexter Dawson did it on his own.
Look at
but to me, 1 point doesn't make a difference between 12 and 11.
They get the ball at the 40. They go in there now. They're sitting out. It's 21.
They still got to score a touchdown.
The discussion there is whether to take the safety on 3rd down should 3rd down result after this play.
Boyko sliding out of the backfield, and he comes up well short of the first down. So what do you think? Do you give up 2 points here? There's a marker down on the field in the Bomber area. Holding might be a decent guess.
I think you have to give up the 2 here if you're punting out of your own end zone.
That was the discussion at the Bomber bench a moment ago.
Well, they declined the holding penalty, but the story is whether they actually will take the 2 points. It'll be interesting to see who won out in a discussion between Cameron and Jeff Reinbold.
You see Johnny Scott getting tackled by Craig Hendrickson. That was the penalty on the play, so that's decision time. Bob Cameron, 43 years of age, run around and give up a safety.
6:09 to go, fourth quarter. It's 26-14. Winnipeg leading BC, a 12-point ball game at this stage. 21,732 on hand to see it here. 2 points. What do you think?
Cameron won.
And he nailed this punt out to the 50. Larry Thompson gets to the Winnipeg 50-yard line. Well, here it is, Bob Cameron versus Louis Pasaglia in a punting duel at Winnipeg Stadium tonight.
Well, both have been in the league for so long, and together they've kicked for about 128 miles. Now, I was trying to figure out, I had a little time on my hands yesterday, and I'm trying to figure out, put that in some sort of perspective. Mount Everest is the biggest mountain in the world, 29,000 feet. Now, together, Cameron and Pasaglia have kicked for 731,649 feet. So if they stood on each side of Everest, they could kick the ball back and forth to each other over the mountain 12 and a half times.
You had too much time on your hands, and Trevathan's hands were not good enough there. So 12 and a half times.
Yeah.
So who do you send up the mountain to get the ball for that half time? Like, how many Sherpa guides have to go up to grab the ball?
Sort of like a game of yards between the two of them over Mount Everest, and I guess the loser has to climb the mountain to get it on the half kick.
I'll tell you what's equally as impressive, and our crack statistician George Goody just said that they have played 707 combined games. That's unbelievable.
Lou Pasaglia, 22 years in the league. Bob Cameron, 18. Both have played with their respective teams all those years. Here's Damon Allen, who's been to at least 5 teams and found a home in BC last year. Able to get out of a big hole there and grab a first down.
Well, I'm sure the...
Excuse me, this guy's got to be, you and I are both amazed at this guy's recuperative ability. He's got to be Gumby.
Exactly.
No way to hurt
and I was just going to say the same thing. I mean, here's, I'm sure the whole province of British Columbia took a sigh of relief when they saw him run like that. I mean, that knee is back.
4:33 to go. It's the Bombers by 12, 26-14. Damon Allen has his hands on the football, and he has a target. Trevor Shaw made the catch.
Trevor Shaw comes in with the extra receiver for the Lions and has caught a pass in last 2 consecutive games. That's 3 in a row, so he's starting to slowly get involved in this offense.
What a nice target he is, too. 6'3", 215 pounds. Big guy to throw to over the middle.
The gain is 9. 2nd and 1 Lions, and even 4 minutes to go. Allen himself for the first down. The knee seems to be in decent shape.
I've never seen, he and Flutie have the knack for making that quarterback sneak and stand on their feet. It's amazing. Those two guys, they're so dangerous with the football in their hands.
Adam Rita has done a great job in turning the Lions around. Thanks in part to Damon Allen, and there's an injured Blue Bomber down there. Colin Scrivener shaken up for the 2nd time. Flutie and the Argos in Edmonton against the Eskimos. A battle of the 2 #1 teams. Commonwealth with Gord Miller and Lee Pedersen tomorrow night.
And Doug's on a roll, too, right now. Boy, he is playing really well. He's got Drummond cranked up. He's got Darryl Mitchell cranked up. I mean, Andre Kerwin, Pinball Clemens.
Well,
I'm getting winded talking about the target.
You know, you talk about the Argos, and unlike early in the league or early in the year when a lot of people weren't really involving Doug Flutie's name in MVP talk early, now he's starting to come back into it again because he's really putting the numbers up. But who do you pick out of Toronto when Robert Drummond is over there as well? I mean,
and can you give one side of the ball an MVP award? Because that defense leads in about every defensive category in the league. So that team is well put together.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
You guys forgot to talk about the Eskimos, who will be snarly at Commonwealth tomorrow night after losing last week.
This is Glenn Scribner heading to the sidelines. Just working himself back into the Bomber lineup after having injury problems most of the season. So now it's up to the Bomber defense here. Lions are 1st and 10. Ball on the Winnipeg 25. Damon Allen rears back and fires. He has Baker. Baker has yards to spare. He's inside the 15-yard line.
This is a big game for Shalon Baker, Glenn. He played in Winnipeg, was kind of sent out of here on a sour note, and makes a couple of nice moves.
Yeah, Robert Davis, who's been forced to play the halfback position, kind of overran the play, and good move by Shalon Baker to go back inside.
5 catches, 48 yards for Baker tonight. Another first down for the Lions here. Allen on target. Baker dropped it that time. Hamilton was covering. Shalon Baker couldn't hang on. So with 2:51 to go in the 4th quarter, it's the Bombers by 12.
Yeah, but here's where you got to be really smart, because he hits it and that thing starts rolling around down inside the 5. We can't get tackled inside the 20.
You want to explain the mathematics of this situation here, Mr. Suter? It's a 12-point game. Lions have to score twice. Allen has it batted down. Tyrone Rogers, I believe.
This real defense has really been impressive down here in the scoring zone. And certainly with the point differential the way it is, BC has to go here on 3rd down. But these guys have just risen to the occasion tonight, Glenn.
And again, it's Tyrone Rogers who provides the pressure and gets his hands up to knock this football out of the air. Number 91, right up the middle. If you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up.
This could be the ball game. The Lions are gambling on 3rd and 10. Allen escapes, looking for the first down himself. He doesn't get there, I do not believe. Forced out by Carter, who came a long way to get to the BC quarterback. Grant Carter, they said he'd make a difference here. He has.
And I think he's injected a little bit of the fiery attitude that he has. This team is flying around on the field. Look at them all scrapping and scraping, and Damon's trying to do it on his own. A little wounded trying to get there, but Grant finishes him off.
And Grant Carter started that play on the far side, opposite side of the field that Damon Allen ran to, and hustled all the way across to help it get in on that tackle and get him out of bounds.
Now here's where the coach and Bob Cameron are talking to one another. If they resulted in getting the ball down here, they were trying to talk a couple plays in advance of what to do if they had to punt.
The Bombers begin at the 8-yard line. They have a 12-point lead. Montgomery gets the call. Lots of time left for the BC Lions.
Well, Chris Vargas really needs to get a drive together here and get his team out of the hole, because there is plenty of time left with 2:28 to go, and the Lions' Adam Reed has called a timeout. There's plenty of time for BC to get that football back and get the necessary points to come back in this game.
I like what Vargas has done tonight. Gutsy performance.
Yeah, after getting belted to the ground by David Benefield, he came back and made the long throw to Milt Stegall for the touchdown, and he really has played a solid. Just the 2nd game in a row he's played solid.
I'll talk to you soon. We're going to get one for you.
Speaking of solid, there's 51. Stand out on defense for the Bombers tonight. Vargas, good on 16 of 28, 206 yards and the 1 touchdown. One was intercepted. Stegall made the catch. Wrapped up quickly. But it's enough for the first down.
And I love the call from Joe Powell. Here he puts it in his quarterback's hands. You're playing a solid game tonight. I'm gonna trust you to make the proper decision. Not a bad decision to throw at 85. 85 makes a lot of plays for you, but it's a conservative throw. It's a short hitch throw. He's on target with the throw.
And it buys the Bombers a little time and yardage here. 2:09 to go. The Bombers are now out at the 20-yard line with the 12-point lead. And a wonderful run by Tyrone Montgomery. Ronald who?
I'll tell you what, this guy is impressive. He makes a couple of moves to find the hole here, Glenn, and then he goes north and south.
And what's big about it is he's doing it that allows the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to keep the football on the ground when they can burn up time on the clock.
What did Ronald Williams say the other day about his career passing?
He called an impromptu press conference and said, I saw my career flash before me and decided I should apologize to Jeff Reinbold and get back in the squad.
The apology didn't work. He's not playing tonight because this guy is Tyrone Montgomery. Ronald Williams sitting out his second game as a disciplinary problem for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Or after being disciplined by the head coach, I should say, more accurately.
Well, he missed a meeting in Montreal last week, and he was immediately benched by the coach, and Tyrone Montgomery was flown in the night or the day of the game. Actually sat down with the coach and had a crash course on what they're going to try to do offensively. I talked to Grant Carter before the game tonight, and he said that Tyrone only knew 3 of the running plays going into the game. But he had a 91-yard game last week. He's had a chance to practice all week long this week and replace with Ronald Williams. And I'll tell you what, he has stepped to the task. He's had a nice night tonight, and they may have found someone that they can really depend on.
And the nice thing that he does for you, because he's played slot back and is so fast, you can walk him out of there and use him as a receiver.
Second and 8 as Vargas takes off himself, a little quarterback draw. Not noted as a gifted runner. Vargas comes up a little shy. With 1:12 to go, he has a 12-point lead.
If you were looking for the element of surprise, Vargas on the quarterback's draw was definitely it.
I was going to say, I mentioned it earlier, but in 3 years, Chris Vargas run the ball now 19 times.
He took a pretty good pop at the end of that. I'm gonna bet he's gonna go over to Joe and say, listen, let's stay away from that.
That's called a tendency breaker. He's laughing about it with Big Dave Van Conen in his center. So you don't run.
Cameron is in. Less than a minute to go. He's kicked well for Winnipeg tonight. Another boomer. He takes Thompson all the way over to the sideline. And Thompson falls down in front of Greg Battle. 21,000 on hand here at Winnipeg Stadium tonight, including the 1 millionth fan sitting right there. That might be him.
Is that him?
The 1 millionth fan in the Canadian Football League this season. Well, that could be him too. The Bombers have been a long time celebrating their last home victory. Came on October 13th, 1996. So Jeff Reinbold appears to have his first home win locked up here. David Allen has almost run out of time, but not quite on a football field as he glides out near the 50. And then penalty markers fly, and there's Louis Pasaglia in the middle of all that down there.
I'll tell you what, Adam Rita was on the field also. I don't know whether Davis was blocked in Allen or not, but this is way too late to hit the quarterback.
It's just like in hockey when the goalie gets hit after the play or gets run. The rest of the team will sprint to his side.
Well, David's not a guy that gets upset very often, but you saw Alfred Jackson was the guy holding on to him. And you see Louis Pasaglia beside himself. But David Allen doesn't get very upset, and he is livid after that hit.
Well, and he should be. He slid on the play.
He was going down. He was sliding.
He slid down to the play and was well down before he got hit. Robert Davis took 3 or 4 steps, covered almost 4 yards before with Damon Allen on the ground before he hit him. So definitely reason to be angry.
Davis on Allen. Here it is.
Hey, Allen's down there. Watch this. That is
cheap,
late.
Cheap shot.
He should be thrown from the football game. He's not out of the game. Something's wrong.
Now Pasaglia, with his warm-up jacket on, is right in the middle of things down there. And still upset.
Louis calling for Rob Davis to come over to the sideline and finish things.
Well, Davis was in BC, so Pasaglia knows Robert Davis. And he wants a piece of him right now. But if Davis remains in this game, there's something wrong. He will be thrown for the football.
I agree 100%. That was blatant cheap shot on a quarterback who was down. Robert Davis should be in the showers.
One more time here as Davis still stands on the field.
And then throws the head and shoulder in there with him down and out.
That probably should be a sign of fine also, yes.
Pasaglia leading the Lions off the bench. Robert Davis drawing 3 flags there with 34 seconds on the clock. Sports desk coming up immediately following Friday Night Football. Reinbold and the Blue Bombers on the verge of their first home win of 1997.
I'll be surprised if they don't review this one, John, and Davis may have a fine coming his way, and he may also be looking at maybe not playing next week.
Well,
this is a blatant hit.
They're going to throw out Louis Pasaglia as well for the retaliation, but I don't know if that's warranted, but definitely Robert Davis, who's now heading to the shower.
And Pasaglia being escorted off on the other side. Of course, Pasaglia was not on the field, so he came off the bench.
Well, there is absolutely no question that it was a cheap shot by Robert Davis. Damon Allen is down.
In fact, Jocelyn Borgella goes over to touch him down, and Davis comes in out of nowhere, and then he gets up and walks directly towards the BC bench, so there's no question he had the shot in mind before he lined it up.
And it seemed to me there was the intent there as well. I mean, that was premeditated.
Well, this one is all but over. Julio Caravana's in at quarterback. So Damon Allen dejected and likely shaken up as a result of that.
Well, Damon's on the bench because they just don't want to see anything like that the rest of the game. He's not hurt. He was not hurt on the play. In fact, he was very upset and wanted to get involved with some type of fight, but they're getting him off the field to make sure he doesn't get hurt.
30 seconds to go now. Julio Caravana has his first strike of the night. Nick Mazzoli, playing his first game as a BC Lion, makes the catch. Now, 24 seconds to go.
This game is over. I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking for who's going to run who from the BC Lions into that secondary for the Bombers. Robert Davis is out there, but I think we may see another fight before it's over.
Caravana falling for a yard, maybe. 15 seconds now. Have to give the Bombers full marks for a victory here tonight. They played well on defense and made a couple of offensive plays when they had to. Just the one touchdown, but it was a beaut.
Well, the record's not there for this team, but I think the effort and the attitude is, and just making a few adjustments personnel-wise elevates this team maybe to the next level.
Caravana has Schaub. 4 seconds to go, so the Lions have a chance to put more points on the board, but they cannot beat the Blue Bombers this night. Caravana looking for a touchdown toss, and he fired it into the turf in the end zone. The Bombers have their first home win since October 13th, 1996. Hard-fought battle at Winnipeg Stadium. And I think they really started this victory when they came so close against the Alouettes last week.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Adam Rita has to say with Jeff Reinbold. Oh, very upset, as you can see, very upset.
I've never seen coaches get into it. Now the players separate the coaches. And
This is a full-blown Donnybrook here. What happened to Adam Rita? Where is he in that?
He's being held off.
Well, Adam Rita can be credited for starting it because he walked over and butted Jeff Reinbold when Reinbold went to shake hands. And that ensued the ensuing melee from his team after that. So Adam can be credited with starting this last fracas.
I've never seen that happen before.
Well, it is a guarantee that Adam Rita will be calling the league on the Robert Davis hit.
Well, and rightly so. I mean, but I don't know that you blame the coach for that, do you? Well, no. I mean, you know, Jeff Reinbold didn't tell Robert Davis to hit the quarterback late, no question. But Adam Rita came across the field.
Well, you can see it written all over his face, Glenn. He's coming over for a purpose. He's hunting for Jeff Reinbold. There he is. He sees him.
And then Grant Carter actually helps tackle Adam Rita. Well, I guess we've seen just about everything here tonight, haven't we?
Feeling that this tape of this game's heading to the league.
Well, I would think they already have it. We have supplied the replay already.
Yeah.
To CFL headquarters. The Bombers come up with their third win of the year in a night that had a little bit of everything at Winnipeg Stadium. 26-14 the final on Friday Night Football.
Our next game here at TSN should be a dandy tomorrow night at Commonwealth Stadium. The Eskimos on top of the West taking on the #1 team in the league, the Toronto Argonauts, at 10-2. We've got it for you at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific time right here on TSN. Sports Desk coming up next with Mike Toth and Darren Detition, and baseball, hockey, and some Davis Cup tennis news for you as well. It's over in Winnipeg, but I'm sure the bad blood is just getting started between the Blue Bombers and the BC Lions. An ugly finish, but another victory for Jeff Reinbold and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They improved to 3-10. Thanks for watching Friday Night Football. From all of us here, have a great evening. Now let's go straight to Sports Desk, coming up next on TSN. So long.